Yo,
Yo, what's happening, bro?
what's up?
Just gotta turn the music down. What's up, YouTube as well? YouTube land. 10 people chimed in already. That's cool. Let me hide this starting soon banner. Can you guys hear us all right in YouTube? I put my webcam up. I was feeling brave today, brave and beautiful, so I thought I'd chuck my webcam on.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What's up, Sincere? Let's Mars, Doge Catcher, Boxer Burn, OG Alchemist. What's happening? Yeah, I'm in black and white. I put the camera on black and white purposefully because it hides bad skin and like just anything like that. Anyway, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. It's really weird. There's like, it should go away. It's all good. All right. Let me just get my bearings on where we're at with Bitcoin. I'm gonna hide some of these levels, these price points, and I might share my screen in Discord as well in case anyone jumps in here and they're like,
Yeah, let me check it out.
Like, where's your screen? Two? I can't even HD stream in my Discord. It has to be like 720p at 30 frames a second. That's alright, that's good enough. Grayscale reference. Okay, yeah, Grayscale. I don't work for Grayscale, I promise. So I think the last time I streamed it was like the 30th of August. Like pretty much when we were pushing up after that BlackRock, like that SEC on the dawn, like on the eve of them giving their verdict on whether the Grayscale BlackRock Bitcoin ETF was going to go through or not, and they delayed it, and that's why we plummeted back down to square one. So here we are back on that SR level. So we hit resistance here, support, and seemingly enough, finding support at that same level again. And it's like, are we going to lose it or are we going to hold it? That's kind of where things are at the moment. And as it stands, currently we are holding it pretty well. You know, until it breaks, you know, then we reassess. But for now, like, you treat support as support. That's what support is. It's supporting the price. There's a lot of evidence of buying here, so people are pretty excitedly buying it as soon as it comes down into this range as well. And that's kind of like the short-term outlook on it, on Bitcoin at the moment. Obviously, we haven't been able to penetrate 30, 31, 32K. There was, you know, this macro level here that we dealt with here, and I've talked about this on previous streams as well, so it's kind of like broken record, but I think everyone and their dog sees this level as support resistance. Like, it's nothing, there's nothing you know, groundbreaking about realizing that. I think that's, everyone's on the same page with that level as resistance at the moment. The support sides, there's a few more levels up for grabs as to where we find support, because we're downtrending at the moment off that high, right? We've had a series of lows, lower lows, highs, and lower highs. So some kind of downtrend. On the bigger picture, we're sort of equaling this level as support. So it's like we haven't quite yet broken the market structure from this year, but it is looking like that. It's threatening to break that structure and, you know, see some further downside. But just as it stands, we're still waiting. Like, I mean, from the last time I streamed, which is back over here, we haven't really progressed anywhere. There was this was like some hype about the ETF, which got delayed a month, so we came all the way back down to square one again. So that was just a news hype event thing that happened. It's got nothing to do with TA. But yeah, look, we're back down at support. That's where we're at. There's not much more to say about it in the short term anyway. If anyone wants, if you guys, I see, is that Mocat, Triple Bastard Trading? And we got Crazy Fool. If you guys want to share your opinions or your views, or go for it, because I can screen share too. So you're up on the stream, and whoever, and by the way, anyone that's listening to this stream through the YouTube stream, and you want to share some TA, you want to share, like, do a screen share and broadcast it in front of this 15-person audience, go for gold. I'm all for it. You guys, you know, just jump in and say, Static with the super chat. Everybody panic. What's up, Static? Thank you for the $2. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I don't know. Jump in whenever you want. Be winging it from here. Trying to find things to discuss that are worth discussing. I think I was sort of going through altcoins today as well. like trying to see what had potential. I'm just gonna go open up the Bybit list. There's a lot of varying degrees of altcoins out there. There's like the ultra shit, you know, they're not trying to pretend to be good. They're just they purely exist for the hype, you know, like ladies. I don't think that has a very serious. I mean, I don't know. I haven't read up on ladies, but it came out when there was that little shitcoin season with like Pepe and AI Doge and all that stuff. But maybe someday Alchemist will come in and do some TA. That'd be cool. Freudian typo. Yeah, let me see. There was one altcoin that I was like, damn, that looks like it's primed to move, and I'll show you why I think that. If I go onto the daily on Dent, check this out. This is like just late December support, right, for Dent, right there. Then once again, we hit it in early June, early to mid-June. We strike it, same level. And guess where we're at right now? We're like beaten up against it right now as well. We're hitting that same level of support on Dent. Since, you know, coming down to this level, there's been many instances of rallies coming up off that support. Here's another one. Not as big as that one, but like, is it reasonable to sort of forecast or see something like that happening again here, like off this same level of support? And I think that's reasonable. You're either going to get that or obviously a break of support and further downside, but it seems to be like a pretty strong level. And this is just what I'm looking for in altcoins. Things that haven't moved yet. This is back in a zone where it hasn't moved up. It's just come back into that cradle. I'm going to check XRP out. Guys, fire off any requests if you want me to check out any altcoins. I'll take a look at them, but I want to have a look at XRP. I think I've got a better list for XRP here too. Something a bit more long term. Yeah, Bitstamp is a good chart. What's up, American Crypto Monster? Turbo J, what's happening, man? Let me just check. All right. XRP on the daily zoomed out. So 2020 wasn't a bad year. There was like just looking at that, 2020 exists between this line here and then right here. So it had some nice moves in there, actually. It saw a lot of that bullishness off the back of, you know, Bitcoin firing off after its halving, right? And then the SEC decided to chase after it, which caused this crash here. And, you know, poor old XRP went down to 17 cents or something close to that. So, and then 2021, spectacular for a lot of coins, but unfortunately XRP still in the grips of the SEC lawsuit. Could only make it up to $2 when its all-time high is $3.30. So there's a lot of untapped potential there. And you know, if you connect up these highs, this is very macro, by the way. Check out where we recently stopped in our tracks. It's pretty much like somewhere in the vicinity of this trend line. Oh no, I changed screens. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So from here, it's like, okay, if we're getting resistance by a trend line, what's happening on the support side? Like, do we have anything going for us on the support side for XRP? And I see like some kind of line like this coming up because we had some, or especially off that point. Look at that point down here. Marry it up with this point here. I think that's the, oh no, that's the late 2020 low. Look at that. There is some, I have to zoom in to really like snap it to that point. There you go. It's locked onto that point and locked onto that point. Lock that line away. All right, check that out. That's a pretty significant trend line coming up from beneath, just as we've got a significant line coming down from above. So we're definitely squeezing up into some apex, and I think we're going to get a pretty interesting thing happening, either less likely to be this year, because there's not many months left of this year. There's only like 3 or 4 months left. But into next year, I think we're going to get some kind of resolution out of this squeezing that XRP is going into. That's going to be interesting. And by the way, XRP is, along with Bitcoin, the only legally recognized as not a security crypto out there. Everything else is, you know, they're still yet to prove that they're not a security. They haven't really been taken into court yet by the SEC, but the SEC have their hands full with other other lawsuits and chasing after other things, I suppose, at the moment. At the moment, like, what's on their table, I think we're still waiting for their decision on the BlackRock ETF, the spot ETF. So see what happens next month for that. Who else is in the chat here? Yeah. Do you have any, like, what's your, like, longer term view if you're there, Crazy? Do you have any sort of, like, for the rest of this year, or MoCat, if you're there? Feel free to chime in, bro. But so let me open up some oscillators on Bitcoin as well, because that's going to be, there could be some clues in there as to where things are headed at the moment for Bitcoin too. Middle of the road for the stochastic RSI. This is on the daily time frame. It might be you know what, to get more context or to get more of a perspective on it, I think we might have to go out to the weekly, see what the weekly's doing. Whipping out the oscillators, exactly. Getting a bit more serious. And then also Fibonacci levels. We haven't done that in ages, or I haven't done it in a while, the fibs. Check out where the stochastic is on the weekly on Bitcoin. That's down. That is deep. That's very deep. That's down in like bottoming territory, if you follow me. Like when Bitcoin finds a bottom, the stochastic is down. It seems to be what's happening. Could be getting a bit of divergence as well. These circles. The MACD seems to be a little bit more reporting on what has happened here, and where we're heading is back to neutrality. Like it's like in a neutral zone on the MACD, I feel. I go full screen. So remember the MACD line is the blue line. The neutral level is 0, you know, basically the middle of the histogram. So like right there. The MACD bounces off that, or like dips down below. That could be another buying opportunity. We are sort of either in a buying opportunity right now, I feel, or approaching, you If we lose this level of support, there's going to be another opportunity to plant seeds. As I've said before, like that's seems to be the way that this year has panned out. Was that the end of last year was an opportunity to start building a position, right? Through all of this carnage. And then wait for the recovery bounce. And that's what we got. We had 6 months of upside. 6 months of up. And then this is like the first time that we're sort of getting any kind of... Well, it's actually not the first time. It's the second time of this level being corrected. So we've hit a top. And we've corrected back down off that high. We're finding support here again, yet again. So we're still in this zone, like we're still in this box. Call it a range, if you will. So the previous range we dealt with, like if you break the market down into just, or Bitcoin down into just blocks, you can see that this was a range. You know, some might want to put it down right down to there, but to me it's more there. Like this extra bearishness was off the back of that FTX fiasco, the FTX SBF drama. Just it pushed it that little bit further than it needed to go, or than it probably would have gone. But anyway, you know, if you want to include it, no big deal. But that is more or less the range that we were dealing with at the time. We broke above it, and we have back tested a brand new range up here. You can see the top of the old range is now the bottom of the new range. And it's like, are we going to hold this range, or do we lose it? You know, that's basically what everyone's waiting to see unfold. And you know, if we lose it, we enter back into this old triangle. But if we hold it as support, maybe we get another look at retesting the 31, 32K level. Yeah, I think I've pretty much given that sentiment. I've shared that sentiment with you guys in many streams leading up to this one. So this is nothing new that you're seeing. We're still waiting for the resolution. By the way, 4 weeks ago, we finally saw this thing resolve, which was the rising wedge. The big old nasty rising wedge that we were in finally broke down. So that was textbook. Just as we had in this section here, we had a falling wedge that got the textbook break to the upside, right? Finally, we got that break. Just needed a new year to roll over, and then, you know, we were off to the races. But if we go back down to small time frames, honestly, I think we're just waiting for a bigger player to show their cards. Like, you know, where are you going? Like, what's happening next? And this is what this is. This is fence sitting. All of this is just choppy. No one truly knows what's next until, you know, the page is turned and we see it in front of us. Similar here, right? We had a similar thing. Similar here and here. Like, we spend most of the time range bound. It's only a few days that we're actually moving, you know, in a direction, getting the movement that we want out of Bitcoin to trade on a shorter time frame. But, you know, when you get range bound, that's when these people turn on their bots, you know, the grid bots. The grid bots love this kind of market, like where it's, you know, you define a top and a bottom, and then everything in between just gets traded with the bots. And that's why it, you know, why it just gets stuck, because everyone sees the range. And as long as you don't struggle identifying the range, you know, you pretty much just go long at support and short at resistance, and vice versa. Like, you know, close your longs at resistance and close your shorts at support, and then that's, that feeds into the range. And then obviously stop losses go just beyond the range, like from the points of invalidation. But yeah, like you can go back in the chart. Like when I zoom out like this, you can see when Bitcoin finds itself stuck in a range, just like here, just like here, here, down here, down here, a little one down here. Yeah, they're all over the place. Find them. But what we all sort of want to wake up to are these days where there's a big transition to a new range, like when we break out of our rectangle. So recently we broke out of a rectangle. This was the one we were dealing with at the time. There was this one. Then there was another one down here. And we lost that too. But see how the bigger movements happen the moment you lose the support of a rectangle, of a range, right? Something like that. So currently our range is, and let me just change the way these squares look, because it's fake. I want to draw one, it should have those settings. Yep, cool. There's a range there. Can you see the stop hunting and like the liquidation hunts that happen just beyond the boundaries of the range? Now the range kind of exists to like up to, I'm thinking there is. Whatever the recent highs were, I think you have to get. Let's go down to the hourly chart and just, yeah, there it is. You really have to zoom in to appreciate where the boundaries are. And to me, it's something like that. It's probably, if you want to get real inclusive with it, you want to include a lot of the action down here too. So it's like maybe 26,150, 26,140 ish is the top of the range. So when you have a range identified, basically the way to play it, or the way I see it, is you respect the top and the bottom of the range until proven otherwise, because range bound activity happens for some time before it gets broken usually, right? Like look at this range here is very tight, and there is activity beyond it and above it in different spots, but that's smaller time frame activity. But for the most part, look at that clearly defined range. Like we're back into the range, like we left it here, but then we got shoved right back into it. And it's like in the crash, where did we find support? Lo and behold, the bottom of the range. And look how defined that became. And if you drag it this way, you can see that we tried to use it again as a range just here before we lost it and came back down and had to test this level as support. Yeah, right now it's I mean, you really have to zoom in to get a bearing on the supports and resistances, really. We're down on the hourly chart. Let's go down to the 15-minute. You can see it's just fractals. If you go to the 5-minute, a lot of noise on Bitcoin at the, like down on the 5-minute. Look how noisy it is. And there's no real range on the shorter time frames at the moment. It's quite erratic. It's all over the place, really. If I had to push it and squeeze out and like try to define a range at the moment, I would say something like that. You know, you've got your upper area here, you've got a lot of action to about that point there. And there's activity below it and above it. So you have to accommodate that as like a bad push to the downside might go to these points. But you'll find, if the range is still alive, that obviously price will come back up into it and bash around until you get like a true departure of the range. Yeah, the problem is like you get a lot of movement beyond it and below it for the purpose of like taking people out that have their boundaries too tight, like their upper and lower boundaries like too inflexible for any movement above or below, So you kind of have to accommodate it, buffer it. This is why lower leverage is good. If you're playing longer swings on leverage, make sure it's like not more than 5x, I think, because anything higher will probably just wobble you out because there's still a lot of movement. Let's gauge the level of movement you get like randomly outside of a range. Like from bottom to top, at least in this part here, it was like almost a 6% top to bottom move. Now 6%, that's going to liquidate you anything. Let's see, a 10x will liquidate you at 9.5% move. So I'm thinking, and a 20x move is going to liquidate you at 4.5x. Sorry, 4.5%. So if you're on 20x leverage, you get liquidated on a move that goes anything above 4.5%. So try to avoid anything beyond 10x, I would say, at the moment, if you're playing ranges. 5 is a nice comfortable, like it gives you more options. Try and improve the position. If you think a support's going to get held, you can buy again and get your average down. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing on the short term for Bitcoin. If you ask me, like, where do you think we're headed like in the short term? There's still a little bit of room below us to move. Like we could come down and test that low there, or even like that. But that was kind of like a double bottom right there. But just the way these wicks got bought up, there's evidence for support at these levels too. Like you can see it. Price crashes all the way down. It gets real scary, but then all the buying steps in and it brings it back up. And we've got some kind of a low there, and then some kind of a low here, and then this might be the start of a newer level down here, But yeah, if you can catch them when they happen, any kind of dips could be really good little spots to open trades at. I bet you there's a bunch of people that have buys stacked up between now and 25.2 or even down to 25, trying to catch that wick, that liquidation hunt or that swing failure. Is Amazon worth it? I don't know. I haven't really looked into stocks too much. I only look at the indexes like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. But I do have an Amazon chart here. Go out to the daily. It's yet to reclaim its all-time high. It is actually pretty far away for like an all-time high test. Some of the other big tech companies like Nvidia, Apple, have revisited, or if not, I think Apple came close. But yeah, no, there's still upside potential there for Amazon. It has not broken the structure of this uptrend yet. So, there's the low. There's a higher low, higher low. It's quite clear to see that it's achieving higher lows. Every time there's a pullback, it gets bought up or supported So until you lose structure, I wouldn't write off Amazon by any means. What it's doing now is like squeezing. So I would have a trend line. I'd have some kind of triangle drawn like this, and just be paying attention to what happens toward the apex of Amazon. You know, thoughts on the S&P? Yeah, I'll show you what I think about S&P 500. By similar story. I mean, we pushed down recently to this low here, but it's actually a higher low just. So it's basically a double bottom support, which is, it's a good thing. I mean, that's kind of bullish. But look, at the moment, we're dealing with a lower high. If we're calling this point a pivot, and we're going to suggest that we're coming back down again, I think maybe there's another triangle, just like on Amazon, right? Like something like this is happening at the moment. So that's what I'm going to track. I'm going to lock that triangle in and just keep it there and see what breaks first. Like, are we going to get a rally and a push up through and then like retest this high? Are we going to beat the high? Like, not just get up and test it, but get above it and make a new high, and then maybe look at, you know, revisiting the all-time high here, which could be, by the way, a very nasty double top. So be careful of that, because we hit it once. It could be a second throw, and that could really get things looking like ugly. If we get rejected by it, is what I'm saying. Can you see? Look at where we stopped right here. Like, why did we stop where we stopped? And check out how sharp that rejection was right there. I think it's a test of that. It's not perfectly to the, you know, to the tick, but it's very close to that high there. It's kind of like a double top. There was resistance met here, and we're hitting that same cloud of resistance, similar to what Bitcoin's dealing with right now. It's hitting resistance, and you know, we're trying to get a resolution beyond that. So sure if, oh yeah, my voice doesn't seem to be transmitting properly in Discord at the moment, so I don't know what's going on there. Let me see what else is happening. Maybe the NASDAQ, it's worth a look at as well. US 100. So this is the tech-heavy look at the S&P. This is like, this picks out all the tech-heavy companies like Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, you know, technology. I think it's a lot further along in the journey back to all-time high. So it's already like bounced off this point. It kind of broke structure technically. You know, we had a change of character here, except now we're trying to push back up and reclaim these highs, but at the moment it's, you know, all I can chalk it up to is maybe a falling wedge or a bull flag, because you got something like this happening. Like that or like that. So falling wedge-esque. You might ask what the hell's a falling wedge, or like what's a bull flag? You can see them on the way up here. Like, there's examples. There's one here. Like this. You could argue that that was more of a pennant that came in like that, and then it got a break to the top side. And then you could also argue that this is a pennant as well, because you've got some lows here that you can pull that line from. Very, you know, these kind of structures happen on the way up as well. This was very nice bull flag right here. Check this out. This This is your classic bull flag. So it's like a parallel channel that runs south off an uptrend. There. By the way, patterns play out a lot better in the stock market than they do in crypto, I think. They're a bit more, they behave a lot more like the textbooks. Highlight this one too, because this was another sort of flag situation. A bit more of a shallow flag though, like it wasn't as steep or severe. Yeah, still, we had this like tumbling effect, tumbling down in a channel, and then bang, broke out, back tested the top of the flag here, found support, and then moved up. And these exist on all time frames, by the way. These do exist on all time frames. Check out the macro perspective on what's happening as well with the stack. What have we got? Like if you zoom out, what do you see? I see a bull flag too. Had a bunch of resistance, a bunch of support in a channel heading south. Can you see what threw us up to this point? Like some kind of inverse head and shoulders. That. So we had a low, a lower low, and then hey, lo and behold, a higher low. Broke the neckline here, which also is the bull flag. And then here we are, like approaching all-time highs again. You know, aren't we supposed to be in some tragic, like, you know, crash or some kind of like massive recession? Yes, the interest rates are high, but that didn't stop. You know, like we've got interest rates up higher than they have been in about 10 years or more. And yet here we are, like approaching all-time highs on the NASDAQ. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think that seems kind of weird. It's like they don't care. Whoever's pushing markets up like this, you know, to me that doesn't spell, oh yeah, the economy's weak, and like it just seems there's just, here's the reality. Like the reality is right in front of us. Like we've got the movement. But there's still a lot of fear being pushed on people out there about recession and, you know, economic end times. I'm going to check out Trueflation as well, because I don't know where that is currently sitting. So 2% has been hard to achieve. Like we all know that that's the target of the Fed. They're trying to hit 2% inflation. We're at 2.64. We came close. The lowest we got was 2.08%, so very close on this website anyway. And we're sort of bouncing off that and trying to get CPI as close to 2%, if not better. But there was this really nasty bounce in August, and we've come all the way back up to almost 3% again, 2.75. 7, so like the interest rates are trying to do their job, the high interest rates, but inflation's still tough. I'm just going to check also what inflation rate and interest rate. Here's the interest rate chart. This is what I mean by it. This is the highest interest rate we've had in quite some time. So here was this here was the season of the global financial crisis of 2007, 2008. So count forward 10 years, you got 2017, 2018. We had another hike cycle. So we hiked 10 years prior. And right now we're higher on the rates, the interest rates, than we were when things broke last time. The GFC, you know, high interest rate environment makes it tough for, you know, a lot of different sectors out there. And it's, at the moment, things are supposed to be tough. Like the economy is supposed to be tightened up to where it's bringing inflation under control, which is, I think, pretty much what they were trying to achieve back here as well. But either way, something might be around the corner, something devastating, which is going to cause them, you know, it's going to force their hand to cut the rates like very quickly. Potentially, that's a potential. I think there was a whisper. Someone was saying that there's like some word of they're done with the hiking, and that, you know, the rest of this year is just going to be held at 5.5%. That's the. Let me check out the consensus on. I'll have to look it up in a different tab. 1 second. I think it's the Fed Watch tool. So if we open up that, it's by the CME Group, which is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. If you go on their website, cmegroup.com, it gives you like the probability of what the Fed like is going to do at the next meeting, the next Fed meeting. So 93% probable of a pause, another pause. So no change to the interest rate. This is a change by 25 basis points if we were to hike to 5.75, because we're currently at 5.5. That's only 7% probable. So it's quite, there's a pretty strong consensus out there that we're going to see another pause to the rate, because we know that the last decision was a hike. They did another 25 basis points, which put us above this level. So this was the height of the interest rate, 5.25% at the GFC. That's as high as the interest rates got. We are now technically above that by 0.25%. So we're at 5.5. And I think, yeah, word on the street is we're going to pause for the foreseeable future until this inflation gets down to the target of 2, down to here. But yeah, damn, look at what we have achieved off the high of inflation. This was the peak, 9.1%. We have achieved this within the space of, I think, 12 months. When did we start falling? June of last year was the peak. So every month after that has been a fall. So the most recent report on CPI was a tick up, because the previous one was 3%, and now we've got a 3.2. So we've inflated a little bit, and that's why we headed back up. So, and by the way, this is what Trueflation is trying to depict, is this journey of inflation. If I hit the, I can only get a year's worth. Let's go year to date to get it. As close as I can get it to the Trueflation website. Trueflation website looks something like that, like there. So that is that. So it's depicting the same bounce, stickiness. We went as low as 3, back up to 3.2. Where's 3 on here? 3's like at this level here. And so the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Actually, yeah, it wasn't reflected by the Trueflation website. We're lower than that. But yeah, let's see what happens next CPI. When's that gonna be? I hear you asking. If we go to the calendar view, look at this month. It's a brand new month. We're in September now. We've already had a couple of things happen. What do we got today? We've got the PMI and then the unemployment claims figure. CPI is around the corner. It's the 13th of September, or September 13th. So 1 week out from CPI. The estimates aren't in yet, the forecasts for CPI. Hopefully it's down off 3.2%. That's what we're hoping to achieve. We're hoping to get some kind of figure like around 3 or 2.8, something like that. But we will see. We'll see. And then, look, a few days later, we've got the 21st of September, we get the funds rate decision, which is likely to be a pause, because we looked at that, right? The probability is 93% probable that we get a pause to the rate. So we're just going to sit at 5.5% interest rate, which is, it seems to be sufficiently restrictive, because look what we've achieved from the interest rates being as high as they are and have been this year. We've had CPI come right down. All right, I'm going to stop banging on about CPI and interest rates because I think people get it. What now? So Bitcoin, what are we? An hour and 6 minutes into the new daily candle. Let me check. Daily chart. Not a lot happened on the first hour there. We're still just hanging 10. Yeah, look, I think that's about it. That pretty much covers my thoughts on where we're at the moment. We are range bound just like we were here and now here. We're back in a range. You could consider this anomalous because it was all the hype from the excitement of them announcing ETF, you know, whether it's approved or declined. And what did we get? We got a big old, we'll tell you next month. We got a delay. So they've delayed it for a month. And now we have to, and then, you know, everyone packed up and went home, you know, back to square one again. So we're back on that same support that we were at before. You know, is something bad going to happen? Is someone going to push it and drive it down? Is someone going to capitulate? I don't think so, because we're anticipating that's what we're here for. We're waiting to see. At least that's where the narrative is up to. We're up to waiting to see what the SEC spits out for the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF. We're waiting. We want to know what they think, what they're going to do. If it gets approved, that's going to be bullish as hell, and we're going to go up. If it gets declined, we're going to lose this level, I feel, and then we're going to be looking for lower supports, which is also a buying opportunity. You know, if you're investing in crypto, that could be seen as an opportunity to build positions or further establish your already built position. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Wrap it up here, guys, and appreciate you checking in and supporting the channel. There's some regulars that come in here. I think pretty much everyone that's in here is a regular. There's no brand new people. I don't think anyone new is looking at crypto at the moment. It's not hype enough. It's not the normal people out there aren't thinking about crypto at all. Not yet. But it's not going to be long, I feel. I think sometime next year we're going to get another cycle of growth. Not just out of crypto, but the stock market as well. I think we've already sort of seen that already. The S&P 500 is looking pretty bullish to me, but from a macro scale, we have to deal with the all-time highs of, you know, S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, you name it. We have to deal with those all-time highs because they're still below us. I mean, they're still above us. We're still below them. That's the writing on the wall. That is the writing on the wall. The charts don't lie, just like that channel says. Crypto Crew University, which I do recommend. I think that's a good channel. Anyway, thanks again, guys. I'll chime out for now, or I'll tune out, I'll log out, I'll log off. Thanks, Turbo. Appreciate that, bro. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it's going to be a little sooner rather than later. But yeah, let's see. I don't know. If something interesting, if something exciting or out of left field happens, I'll have a reason to jump on and talk about it. But if it's more of the same, like, I think it's going to be less frequent, the streams, you know, because it's just going to be me rehashing what I've said, you know, in the days prior. But anyway, see you guys. Have a good day. Have a good night wherever you are. And take care. Bye.